Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker. So today, I just thought of something while I was driving, and I got so emotional when I thought about it, and I was even crying. I thought about how much of an emotional burden I've been for a full year. I've been an emotional burden to my friends and some family members. And as part of me getting healing for my inner child, if there's one thing that I've always tried to find a remedy for, is me being a burden. I never wanted to become a burden to anyone, which is one of the things which inspired me to be a responsible person growing up, or rather when I started working. One of the reasons why I've always wanted to have things of my own is because I never wanted to be a burden, to anybody. But I limited my thinking of being a burden to just being, a burden financially and just in general. But I never thought of it as also a thing to work on, even emotionally, to say, well, if you are saying that you don't want to be a burden at all to anybody, then you can be an emotional burden as well. I remember I shared a story with a friend of mine saying that I think it's got more to do with my middle child issues, because most middle children have common issues like maybe feeling neglected or less loved, or feeling like you are a child of inconvenience, or feeling like everybody belongs to somebody except for you. If there's a boy, the boy belongs to the mom, the daughter belongs to the dad, and you are just there in the middle belonging to nobody. So in my case, I felt like I belonged to my grandmother. you know so with me growing up in that setup, I've always felt like I was a child of inconvenience, and that made me aspire to not become a burden to anybody when I grow older, because I don't want to be an inconvenience. My biggest thing that I never really realized, my biggest thing, my biggest wound or scar that I never realized that I needed healing from, was me thinking that I'm a burden, and I don't want to inconvenience anybody by just doing things which will require that I must need help or get help from anyone. So the one thing that I've always aspired to become is independent in every possible way, so that I never become a burden to anybody. And over the past year, I've realized that that trauma actually is even deeper than just being a burden financially or otherwise. Because if you've been around me, those who've been around me know that I don't like inconveniencing people, in a sense that I would rather be the one who is inconvenienced. Because if I inconvenience you, chances of you liking me less are very high. So for me not to be liked any less because I'm an inconvenience, I would rather be a convenience. Okay? Meaning that if you've ever hung out with me, you will know that I don't take handouts. I could hardly ever allow anybody to settle the bill for me. I could hardly ever allow anybody to help me, But I don't mind helping other people, because I don't mind other people being a burden to me, because the way that I've always felt like I've been a burden, I feel like people who are supposed to be burdens also deserve some love. So that is why I always open up my home, for example, to everybody. People can literally come stay in my house for the longest time, until maybe the behavior changes or whatever. Then I will have a problem with whoever that's staying in my house. But I'm very welcoming. And the reason why I developed this very welcoming tradition was because I felt like, you know what, I don't ever want to see anybody feeling the way that I felt as a child. So with me not wanting to be a burden and trying to figure out this life thing and making sure that, you know what, when I enter a room, you don't have to worry about me. In fact, if anything, when I enter a room, you should be happy to see me because minus one problem has arrived. The person who has now arrived is somebody who is not even going to give you trouble at all. If anything, they're actually going to help you solve your problems, you know. So that has always been me growing up. So right now, I was traveling to Joburg to do my things. And I called this friend of mine. I was like, friend, I'm going to see you. We're going to be together. Actually, I called a couple of friends, not just one, to say we're going to meet up, you know. But when they ask me exactly what it is that I'm going to be doing or what my plans are, I wouldn't give them straight answers, you know. I wouldn't give them straight answers because I didn't want anybody to go out of their way to actually make time for me. But I actually would rather come and join you on your plans instead of you putting everything that you have to do on hold for me. You know, that's just me. Because I feel like if people put everything they have to do on hold for me, then I'm becoming a burden, which now takes me back to that childhood trauma that I never want to be a burden to anybody. So the reason why I got so emotional when I realized that actually, besides me being aspiring to not become a burden to anybody, I've actually been a burden the entire year. The whole of 2021, I've been a burden. And I never realized that because I only limited that to finances and just other things, you know. So a friend of mine calls me. She's like, should I leave my key? You know, and I had already made up my mind, and I thought to myself, you know what, because she's busy today, I don't wanna bother her much, you know. I'm just going to run my errands. After that, I'm just gonna go to a mall. If later on she hasn't called me to tell me that she's back or she's done with her things, I'm probably just gonna book somewhere and sleep there and not bother her, you know. So then she says to me, I've left my key, you know. I want to leave my key so that when you're done running your errands, you can come put your stuff here and do whatever you want to do. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. I really appreciate that because I never really thought of that. I thought I was just going to be walking around with all my things in the boots, you know. Then she said, also where I'm going, you can come and join me, you know, later on once you're done with your own things. And this is a person that for the whole of 2021, I'm getting so emotional, guys. For the whole of 2021, she's one of the people that I've been burdening. You know, I can literally count the people that I've been a burden to for the year of 2021, even now, you know. But I was a burden emotionally, not in any other way, but just emotionally. I was a burden because I was needy and I needed to talk all the time. I needed you know, an ear all the time. I needed a shoulder all the time. And when these people always show up for me, I would always feel like I don't deserve them. And I don't even understand why they're doing this for me. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind doing that for them because that's who I am. I don't want people to feel, you know, lost and just frustrated, you know, and stranded. I don't like seeing people being stranded. So she then says to me, you can come put your stuff here and then you can join me. Then we can just be together if you don't have any other plans. So that got me so emotional. That got me so emotional to say the way it's so difficult for me to ask. The way it's so difficult for me to say stuff, you know, to say, can you do this for me? Can you help me with this? It is so difficult for me. And I'm not honestly speaking, I'm not really used to people doing good things for me because I come across as somebody who doesn't really need help because I'm always the first one to offer help. You know, so then she says to me, you can come put your stuff here, freshen up, and then decide if you want to join me or not. I'm going to send you location when I get there. And I was so appreciative of that. I was so appreciative of that. And I was like, wow, I'm so blessed, you know. I'm so blessed. And she's making this so much easier for me because under normal circumstances, I wouldn't want to tamper with people's plans or just inconvenience people in general, regardless of how close you are to me. I don't want to inconvenience people. But then it hit me that actually this that she's doing right now to say to me, you can put your stuff here and come and join me, is actually nothing compared to what she's already done for me and all my other friends, and my dad as well. Because emotionally, I have drained that old man. I did. And for a traditional man, who's not used to having heart-to-hearts with his kids, he had to take it out. He had to say something. He did. I remember this one time when we had a conversation, and these are the things that we never spoke about when I was growing up, So sorry about that, guys. I remember when my dad said to me, do you know why I named you Perseverance? I'm like, no, I don't know. It's like at that time, I needed an encouragement of some sort, And every time when I face challenges, I would always look at you and remind myself of where I was when I named you Perseverance. And I always get encouraged to say, after perseverance, there's success. So I know that when I named you that, I didn't name you that for you. I named you that I didn't even know these things, guys. Then he said, when I named you Perseverance, I didn't name you for you. I named you for myself. And this name that I gave you, and you just being here, has been working for me over the years. In every challenge that I would ever face, it has been helping me. I've been overcoming. You are a constant reminder for me that I will always overcome. And all I can say to you is that try this. Use your name as an encouragement, as it has been working for me. It can definitely work for you too. After all, it's your name. It's the name that I gave to you. So it can work for you as well. So just remind yourself that every time when things are tough, when you're persevering, or when you decide to persevere, you're going to succeed. You're going to overcome. So I know that he would not say it in my face, but I would see the stress in him. I would see that he was stressed. My situation was just stressing him out because he wanted what is best for me. And when things are falling apart and I'm falling apart and things are just a mess, I could see what it was doing to him. So emotionally, I was a burden to my dad, And I believe that what I went through last year actually got us closer. It did. So apart from him, I've been a burden to my friends as well. And it only hit me now after I was thinking to myself, after so many years of not wanting to become a burden, here I am now. And I believe that me realizing that actually getting help, actually existing, actually being loved, actually people showing you compassion and just being nice and just showing you love in general doesn't necessarily mean that you're a burden. It simply means that you're a human being. Everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves support. In as much as you are always supporting people, in as much as it's not everybody that you've supported that will give you support back, but at the end of the day, you are also a human being and you also need support, So yeah, that's the thought that I've been having, and I thought I should share with you guys that somebody asked me on Instagram when I posted a video about, I don't even remember what I posted about, but obviously most of my stuff are all about relationships and the do's and don'ts and the unfairness, the captivity of women in relationships. So somebody asked me a simple question. They said to me, have you healed? Have you healed? At the back of my mind, I already knew what they meant when they said, have you healed? Because a lot of people say that you need healing. And people think that healing is only from divorce, and it's not that. So what I said to that guy was, I don't understand what you mean when you said, have you healed? Because I have an inner child who is 33 years who needs healing. And there's so many things, layers and layers of pain and traumas that I need to heal from. So when you say, have you healed, are you speaking about one thing specifically or in general, you know? And I believe that everybody needs some sort of healing. Then I said, I'm going to pose the question back to you to ask you, have you healed? And if yes, what have you healed from? Being a burden in general, not just emotional, or thinking that I'm a burden is one thing that I need to heal from. And I'm grateful because I've already embarked on that journey. This is an awakening for me because I've embarked on that journey of healing from that inner child who felt like she was a burden, she was an inconvenience. Bit by bit, I'm learning to accept help. And for some reason, I feel like maybe the things that I went through, I didn't go through them only because I needed liberation from just the marriage on its own, but also I needed healing from the inner child, the things which are deep inside. And one of the things that I need to heal from, which are deep inside, is me realizing that no, my existence is not a burden. Me being alive is not a burden. And I do not have to find remedies so that I never have to be a burden. For me to realize that it's okay to be a burden sometimes. Actually, you're not even a burden. You are just a human being. You are just existing. And also to acknowledge that it's okay to receive help sometimes. So yeah, this healing journey is a long one. And I just thought I should share this story, or share what is in my heart right now, as current and raw as it is, as it hits me. Because I know for a fact that had I not recorded this now, I was probably going to get over it and forget. And I feel like what hit me as I was going through this emotional thing needed to be shared. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate your subscribing, your liking, your sharing my stuff, and just commenting on it. Stay blessed. God bless you all. Bye.